files federal discrimination complaints against the Illinois State Board of Education. This dropping yesterday from Awake, Illinois. Good morning, I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell here for Illinois in Focus Daily. Get the newsletter where you get newsletters. Just go to the centersquare.com and sign up there, and get the podcast each and every weekday morning as well. So yesterday, the Illinois State Board of Education met at the Plainfield School District, where they held a regular scheduled ISB meeting, discussing a variety of things and all the great things that Plainfield School is doing and so on. But they also had a moment for the public to address the State Board of Education, and one in particular was Shannon Adcock, the president of Awake, Illinois. That is a social welfare advocacy group, and she revealed a federal discrimination complaint filed against the State Board of Education. Getting a copy of the complaint here, you can see it at thecentersquare.com. And we'll have this up a little bit, but I'll just let Shannon's words speak for herself at yesterday's board meeting in front of the State Board of Education as to why she is bringing this complaint to the U.S. Department of Education to investigate the Illinois State Board of Education.
My name is Shannon Adcock, and I am president of Awake, Illinois, a nonprofit social welfare advocacy organization. On March 10th, Awake, Illinois filed a federal civil rights complaint against the Illinois State Board of Education for discrimination on the basis of race in violation of both Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Special thanks to Parents Defending Education for leading the way nationally on civil rights protection efforts. This board promotes and in 2024 funded $1 million to an initiative via Teach Plus that leads affinity group programming that states, quote, some groups are only open to educators of color, end quote, and states affinity groups are focused on racial identity plus other intersectionality markers. Excluding teachers from affinity groups because of their race blatantly violates the Equal Protection Clause. Programming cannot use race to favor certain educators at the expense of equal opportunity for others. Given the $2.25 billion of federal funding that has been requested from ISB, fiscal stewardship would demand no funds be appropriated to unconstitutional programming. To do so puts those funds in jeopardy. Per the NAEP report for Illinois fourth graders and eighth graders, literacy rates are the lowest they've been in over 20 years. 61% of Illinois students aren't reading at grade level. Dozens of Chicago schools have 0 children reading at grade level. As students still recover from disastrous school closures, these results are unacceptable for a state education agency that is budgeting $11.4 billion with a B for 2026. Money funneled into educator affinity groups is not helping children, including Black or Hispanic students who have shown no change in the performance gap in 20 years. Would it not behoove the state board to direct money to improving literacy for all Illinois students and retention of all Illinois educators, regardless of race? Superintendent Sanders, you had stipulated that you have no way of making up for lost federal funding. May I suggest, stop funding woke programming. The number one priority in our classrooms is literacy. So this is our first civil rights complaint against the Illinois State Board of Education. We have a stack in queue to hold public education accountable to the children. Where many people in the state have stopped fighting for kids, we at Awake Illinois cannot and will not stop speaking for children. On behalf of Awake Illinois, I'm Shannon Adcock. We cannot be canceled. Thank you.
So, Ms. Adcock sharing her thoughts in front of the State Board of Education and revealing this federal discrimination lawsuit. And just to read a bit more here from the article you can find at the Center Square I put together. Discrimination on the basis of race raises concerns that the Illinois State Board of Education has received federal dollars in violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which declares that no person in the United States shall on the ground of race, color, national origin be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to the discrimination under any program or any activity receiving federal financial assistance. Excluding teachers from state-funded affinity groups because of their race blatantly violates the Equal Protection Clause. So they're asking for the U.S. Department of Education to investigate this and to take swift action. Now, I did reach out to the Illinois State Board of Education, and the spokesperson told me that they cannot comment on matters pending before the Office of Civil Rights. So clearly, we'll have to track this. And as Adcock said, she's got several other discrimination and accountability complaints that she's got in queue. So we may see more of this. But obviously, the issue of diversity, equity, and inclusion, the issue of affinity groups, these are things that have come into crystal clear focus with the Trump administration moving forward, and with his executive orders and the questions that we reviewed several weeks ago with the State Board of Education not complying with those DEI orders. You've got the dust up at the U.S. Department of Education with reports that there are layoffs there and the possible closure of the Department of Education, how that's going to impact things like this, how that's going to impact federal funds. And as ISB said a couple of weeks ago, if they lose out on $2 billion, they have no way of making up for that. So where we go from here, we'll be watching closely. Again, that's why you need to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell and wake up with us here with Illinois in Focus Daily each and every weekday morning as we give you what you need to know to get your day going here. All right. So make it happen. Get the newsletter, get the podcast, get the segments, and subscribe today. It's Illinois in Focus Daily with the Center Square.